In this presentation, we're going to be looking at how we can use Mudbox and Maya from the M&E Entertainment Collection to do a traditional film and TV shot. We're going to start off with Mudbox. Mudbox is an awesome tool for sculpting and texturing based on industry standard workflows. Artists can choose to use either a UV-based workflow or a P-text-based workflow. The first step in the process is adding a new layer to the diffuse channel and setting a base color. Next, we're going to add in some basic shapes and colors with brushes that have mirroring enabled. Brush stamps and paint stencils can be created from images that are imported, including PNGs with alphas. During the painting process, stencils can quickly be fit to the model using hotkeys to adjust the scale, position, and orientation. By adding detail, we're helping establish the scale of the vehicle and making parts of the ship have a sense of purpose. As you can see, we can work with individual layers, and they can be adjusted and blended together. Now we can use the stencils to add some damage and imperfections to the specular channels. Layers give you the ability to quickly iterate on your design ideas. Here we're using the HSV tool to try out different color ideas. After the painting and texturing is completed, the artist saves out the FBX file to bring the data back into 3ds Max or Maya. Here we are in Maya to continue the look development of our eraser using a couple of maps that were made in Mudbox. The first one is our base color, and the second map is a scratch map that we're going to be using in a few different areas on the physically based standard surface shader. The first thing that we're going to do is map our base color. And as soon as we do that, you'll notice that Viewport 2.0 does a really good job of previewing what the software renderer is going to look like directly in the viewport, which is super cool. Now with that done, we want to start to refine the specular model on this ship. The first thing I want to do is get a nice broad specular highlight, and I'll get that by just increasing the roughness value up to around a range of 0.4. Now with that done, I want to break that specularity up with that scratch map. So we're just going to pipe in the out alpha into the specular weighting, and you'll see that the specularity starts to break up, but we've lost the sense of that bright spot where the sun was. To get that, I want to layer a second level of specularity on top of this broad diffuse level, and this is easily done inside of the standard surface shader with coat. For all practical purposes, coat is a second level of specularity built into the shader. So if we just turn that on by putting the value up to 1, you'll see that we get that nice tight highlight back on top of that big broad diffuse highlight. Now obviously we need to break that specularity model up on the tight highlight also using that same scratch map. So we're going to grab the out alpha and map that into the coat weighting. So that breaks it up a little bit, but it's not quite as extreme as I want. Really what I want to do is I want to drive my roughness value with this same map. The areas that are scratched up, I want a broad highlight in. So to do that, we need to flip the value range of the map, and that's easily done with a utility node inside of Maya. So if we just hit our tab key and start to type reverse, we can grab a reverse node and we can just grab the out color of that map and use this now to drive our coat roughness. So we'll just map that into coat roughness, and you'll notice that we now have this, highlight that's really starting to break up across that ship where those scratches are, but it's just way too big. It's much broader than what I want. I want that to be a nice tight spot where the sun is. So we need to change the range of values, and this again is easily done with the utility node. In this example, we're going to use set range. So what set range does is it allows you to take your old min, which used to be 0 to 1, and remap that into a new range, which will be something like 0.05, like we saw previously, to a maximum value of something like 0.3. So now we can grab the output of this and use that to drive our coat roughness. And as soon as we do that, you're going to see we're going to get this really nice, tight little highlight that just starts to break up where that roughness map is that was painted inside of Mudbox, which is super, super cool. So that's just a quick example of how we can use two applications, Mudbox and Maya, from the M&E Entertainment Collection to do some look development work. Thanks so much for taking the time to check this out. Cheers, everybody.